Right. Everybody feel like that was handled pretty well? I kind of wanted to do something special for our first death.
No, it was
That
good.
was handled
The
well.
first one I've ever had to deal with, and I have to tell you, I don't like it.
No.
It's
Aw.
horrible.
Wait. Is this you guys' first player death?
Yeah,
Yep.
I've never had to deal with it before. It's horrible.
It's my first as a DM.
I get nervous when you say our first death.
Oh.
Who's next? All right, take two. All right. So what I'm planning is there's a couple of different things we'll go through, and we can kind of just start it. It has been 4 weeks since the war party returned with the grim news of Bakar's fall. Morale around the hall has been low. Few speak, and often crying coming from the bunks of the orphans can be heard. Azan, on hearing the grim news, left to his study, and has not been heard or seen of other than when food is delivered to his room. An air of uncertainty hangs over the company as you all await any orders. Randomly this morning, a letter was found on the company notice board. My fellow brothers and sisters in arms, I apologize for my absence as of late and my lack of leadership. All will change soon, but first we must work toward finding peace for Bakar and ourselves. All able-bodied members of the company are requested to report to the main hall tonight. We will hold a meeting to discuss the unfortunate event in question and what will be done to tie Bakar's loose ends. Day goes on, very little is said. Upon entering the main hall, Azan is already waiting and remains silent as the members of the company file in. You all sit quietly, patiently, as you await for Azan to begin. As it seems that the majority of the members have arrived, you begin to feel the weight of the silence. Just as you begin to get the urge to speak, Azan cuts the silence and his voice echoes through the chamber. Hello all, I am very pleased to see all your faces. I believe I have much to answer for, as my silence as of late has been less than helpful. In a time where the company needed me most, I failed to offer a guiding hand or a comforting voice. With our untimely exodus from followed by the hardships we found along the road to here, I've dealt with a lot of loss, as we all have. Recently, I've left the daily running of the company to Bakar, as I attempted to grasp what the future may hold for us, and any possibilities of reclaiming our former glory. I realized at the time of the war party's return that I had relied on all of you, but especially Bakar, way too much recently. The loss of Bakar is proof of the human cost this job can demand of us, but was also a serious cost to our organization, due to the role he had made for himself. I share the grief of our loss as you all do, but we must begin to pick ourselves back up and decide together what our future may hold. First course of business for tonight, however, is addressing the very situation that has led us here. I want to question the members of the party who were present during Bakar's death, not only for my own knowledge, but also for all of you to hear this story, and so we can all decide the course we should take. For those who are not completely clear on the facts of the event that took place, I'll give a short summary before we dive into details. On a mission to collect information on the Red Brands, Bakar led a group to scout out a potential hideout and potentially gain valuable intelligence. Upon approaching the hideout, the party moved quickly, quietly, and with violence, killing the sentries outside the cave the Red Brands had claimed as a staging point. Heidi took the shape of a beast and entered the cave, scouting the area. On returning, she brought news of a conversation she had heard, and that one of the leaders was on their way out. Turned out to be one which Kalakis had run into with in the past, which led the party to believe she would be a valuable target to grab. That part of the mission was a success. We still have her and have been attempting to wear her down for information, but the rest of the mission went awry, and that's why we're here. For each of you that were on that mission, I'm going to ask a couple questions, and if you can kind of all just chime in. I'm not necessarily putting anybody on the stand here. I'm just looking for answers. Everybody okay with that?
Sure.
All right. Is there anything that I missed in the setup that I've described thus far that's worth mentioning?
So as you all
So, as you all know, I was not present on this mission, and you've all been very quiet since this all happened. Um, I am too. I'm very curious to hear what happened, and to avoid such fates in the future.
I believe everything of importance you have covered, Azan. I mean, it is to note that Heidi, when she heard of the one coming out, she deduced that she was going to be riding a wolf out, and there was really no time to escape, as the wolf had already picked up her scent.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's why we decided to do an ambush, draw the wolf out a little further, and try to capture her within there. I don't think we were ever meant to enter the cave.
Correct. I agree with that statement. The plan was to capture her and leave.
So the entering of the cave, as I understand, is where the party kind of split, according to the reports. Is there a reason why anybody entered the cave?
The wolf almost got away, but they shot it down right at the entrance. And upon doing that, I did see some arrows flying out. The car even was hit by one. Maybe just the return fire. I'm not sure.
Could anything of do you believe that during the scuffle with the woman and the wolf, that people inside of the cave were alerted? Obviously,
Yeah.
if there was an attack.
I'm sure it was possible.
Could
There's
anything
poison
have been
arrow
done?
flying.
Could anything have been done to minimize the chance of the others becoming alert?
I mean, if you look back at it, yeah, of course, there's stuff that could have been done. I mean, could we have, baited the wolf and the lady out a little further? Yeah, it could have happened, but that's not the way it happened.
Okay.
We took our shot, we took our chance, and at the end of the day, we bit off a lot more than we could chew.
I
We
mean,
didn't realize how many were in there.
I know, it's my questioning is going to seem like kind of second guessing your moves, but I'm just trying to get all the information out. No one's under attack yet. No one is being charged with anything yet, but this is more of a fact finding. So when at this point the woman's knocked unconscious, an arrow came out hitting Bakar as retaliation for the attack on the woman. What were Bakar's orders at the time of him going down?
Well, I got him back up, and he went over to the woman's body, and he didn't have any orders that I can recall at that point in time. But I could hear the screaming in the cave, so I told him that I told him that they needed him, and that's why he entered.
Okay. Who was inside of the cave?
I believe Shallow went first, and then Goldheb, and then either Bakar or myself. I can't remember the exact order.
Shallow because you went in first, what was your reasoning for going inside the cave?
There was someone who was shooting poison arrows that we've encountered before. Looks like these poison arrows have the ability to knock them unconscious, as we've seen. I believe I'm the only member of the team who can resist that. So I went there to kind of block the gates and also made a protective sanctuary around myself, trying to be the most threatening target there, as well as heal my team who was by the entrance.
Okay. So you went in there understanding that you were well protected against threats. Was this relayed to the rest of the party?
Yeah, I was pretty much telling them I'll keep them alive and healing while trying to tank the arrows. I was also insulting the other member, I think, out of character.
Other members that were there, do you agree with that? That you understood what Shallow was doing, and that you did not believe that she was putting herself at risk?
Yes,
I didn't know that.
I wasn't too sure. I mean,
I remember. Go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, a lot of the decisions for me, it's hard when I'm raging. You know, where the party goes, I'm gonna go. If I see one goes in, I gotta cover his ass. So, exact details and orders, I'm going with the crowd.
I was unaware that she was resistant to any poison, or a shielding. But then again, I was outside.
I was unaware that she was resistant to poison, but I knew she cast the shield on herself in Sanctuary, and I remember her talking a couple days before this incident about her learning a spell to where she could climb up a rope and disappear. So I figured she had herself pretty well covered.
Okay. All
See,
right.
I don't know. I had never seen that before. I don't know. I never knew you could climb a rope and disappear into thin air like that. I had no idea that shit exists.
Saved our asses.
Oh yeah, yeah. I learned real quick though.
All right. So we're kind of
I
getting
only
ahead of
telling
ourselves
this-
there.
I'm just telling this within the confidence of the guild hall. I do not tell people I am resistant to poison. Out of character, my character looks human, but she is not because of racist things. People tend to treat you differently when you're a monstrous race.
Look who you're talking to. I'm a giant dragonoid.
Yeah, but it's easier to hide who I am than and I just kind of point at all this.
Yeah.
Okay. So going back to the moment of Shallow entering the cave, followed by other party members, minus Heidi. Can anybody tell me what happened inside of the cave at that point?
Well, I remember going in, and I know there's threats of an arrow, and as soon as I rushed in, I saw the first person that I could engage to try to take him out, and after that, the fucking walls are falling down. Next thing you know, I got these giants in front of me. I'm getting hit, and I was about to fucking die. A lot of the details then are a little hazy, but it got real very fast. That's
So
what I do remember.
it was pretty chaotic in there.
I heard the screams from Golteb from outside the cave. And again, I can't remember if it was me or Bakar that went in right after. I remember it was Shallowstar, Golteb, and then me and Bakar shortly after. Heidi, I don't believe ever went in.
It was you and then Bakar. Bakar was the last one in.
Okay, me and then Bakar. Okay. So when I got in there, I saw Golteb getting pretty well beaten up. So I ran over there to help him, figuring, well, two fighting is better than one, because he was already in the shit. I might as well try to give him a hand instead of just leaving him there by himself.
Okay. Who was the first one to retreat out of the cave?
I think I was actually. I was the first one out.
Okay. At what point did you believe the current situation was a lost cause? Golteb.
As soon as I got in and got attacked.
Just that
Yeah,
chaos,
pretty much.
especially
Yeah, as soon as
seeing
I'm
giants.
telling you, I'm thinking I can go. I'm going to be able to go in and take care of business, as I usually do. But next thing you know, I'm standing in front of 2-3 guys that are killing me quickly, and that's when I knew this was bad.
I remember Shortly after Bakar entered the cave, I heard him yell out, "Stop! Run!" And I could hear Golteb even before then saying, "Retreat." So that was going on.
So there were orders being thrown around to get out of there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as soon as I heard the order that we all got to get out. The second I had a chance, I just happened to be the first one to have a chance to move.
Okay.
And I just, I took my shot, went out, and shortly after, everybody's there with me, almost everybody.
At that time, Golteb, did you see any way out for the group that everyone could get out of their hole?
I thought that we would have been able to. I was
Okay.
thinking that if we got outside of the cave, that we would have some kind of choke point there that we could slow everybody down once they got everybody out, and we'd have a chance to either counterattack or have a good chance for escape.
Okay.
So,
Um,
as I'm running outside, I'm already thinking that let me get ready for the first bad guy to run out to try to take him out.
Anyone else that was there? Can you agree with that statement? Disagree with that statement?
I agree with that statement. I ran in there to help Golteb fend off the one foe, and I unleashed a hell of a flurry on the one that Golteb is a half orc that Golteb was fighting with. Would have killed most men. And this guy just kind of laughed it off. So at that point, I was like, yeah, we got to get out of here.
Sorry, I laugh out of character there.
You know damn well that was a pretty freaking spectacular, out of character, that was a spectacular flurry of great sword strikes.
Yeah, you
60 something damage.
And it just shaved his beard a little bit. That's it.
Yeah, you're speaking with a good amount of experience that you absolutely know what you're talking about. All right. So at this point, you guys are starting to realize the turning tide. What happens next? What are Bakar's actions and orders, for that matter?
He orders everyone to get out. Shalstar tries to convince him, "You guys get out. I can get out of here by myself." And Bakar does not want to hear it, and pulls out a flask of oil from his bag and dumps it all over himself.
Out of character, I don't think he did hear it because that was typed, not spoken.
But that was typed. Okay.
You might be right.
He ordered a retreat, I believe, and I can retreat much faster than some other members in our crew. So I told you guys to get out first, since I was still holding the line.
Okay, Shallister, I understand your logic. You clearly had pretty good thoughts on what you were doing. However, are you admitting to the fact that you were given a direct order by your commanding officer and you disobeyed?
I wouldn't think so. We said to retreat. I have an expeditious retreat, so I was waiting for you guys to get out there before I got out. Most of our people were bloodied, and I was the only one who was still in fighting form.
Do you believe it's fair to assume that Bakar understood why you were doing what you were doing?
Well, to make myself a target rather than our bloodied members. So while giving them a chance to go out, I can block the way.
Okay. So he pours oil on himself at this point. Shallow-Star, are you also retreating?
Yeah, once he poured the oil and said run, I got out of there.
Okay. Can all of you, from your own perspectives, describe to me the events that happened thereafter?
After we climbed up the rope, me and Golteb were up in the little top of the rope, and you could kind of see out and see into the mouth of the cave. And we watched. in complete shock. He lit himself on fire. And then kablooey.
So he lit himself on fire, and then it exploded.
Yeah.
That sounds like it was a lot more than a flask of oil.
I don't know what it was.
Knowing Bakar, I'm sure he had some sort of explosives in his bag. He was fond of fiery.
You know, retroactively, there was a time I saw a device that he described as a nautical explosive device. I wouldn't have assumed that he kept it on his person. Unfortunately, we didn't see this coming. Can anybody describe Bakar's mental state at the time or shortly previous before the time
Seemed
of
all right
this
to me.
expedition?
He seemed all right to me.
Do you-
And once we all kind of realized that it was too much for this cave, he kind of seemed like this. He was okay with this outcome. He was ready to. Seemed like he was accepting of what he needed to do, or what he thought he needed to do.
I think fire and explosives are his first and go-to method, as experienced by our previous missions. They're not his last resort. Unfortunately for this, I have no idea where he got that huge explosive. He did not requisition it from me, or I don't know if any of you knew about it, but I certainly didn't.
I wasn't in the armor, I can tell you that much.
Yeah,
He was
definitely.
very much in control, in charge, came up with the plan, talked with all of us. He was very level-headed. And then,
Okay.
everything.
Okay, so I'm sorry to drag up this the gruesome vision you witnessed of his death, and all that happened in front of you. After it was assumed Bakar was dead, I take it from the reports he was lying in a pile of rubble. There was no way of getting to his body. Did anyone assume control at that point?
I think we
We
just
were all-
quietly. Well, Palakis cut off his hand.
No, his hand was already off. I just brought
Oh.
it back with me.
Oh, okay.
I could see why you would
His
think
hand
that, though.
His hand came flying out. I brought it back with us.
Yeah, as far as a leadership role, at that point, combat was over. We pretty much were on the same page. We just took that quiet walk home.
So
We
would
were
you
all
say
in our heels.
Kalakis here, his right hand man?
Well, I guess I would be the right hand now. Since I
So
own him.
I take it you collected the party and you guys returned at that point.
Correct. We were kind of in disbelief. We didn't want to, assume his role as of yet because nobody wanted to believe that he was dead yet. So nobody assumed his position. We figure we'll leave that up to you as respects to him.
We also had a prisoner. I mean,
yeah, we also had a prisoner.
I'm not going to sit here and start having a pity party in front of this lady. I'm not going to talk about what may or may not have happened in front of this lady. The last thing she needs is to get any kind of satisfaction of us crying in front of her. Fuck that.
And as far as we know, she has no idea who is really in charge yet.
That is true.
I
was just trying hard not to kill her right then and there.
I do have to say it's admirable that even though the situation is sad, it is good that you still were able to achieve a goal, and at least we have something out of that mission. So at this point, I would like to ask each of you in turn. So I'll start with Goltab. Do you believe that any specific action could have been taken by yourself or other party members that could have prevented Bakar's actions?
No. I mean, I can't predict the future. I can't change the past. We all know as soldiers when we go in, every battle is going to be could be the last one. And as much as we try to recon or do what we got to do, we stepped in a hornet's nest, and that's battle. I think we've all fought enough times where we know we're going to have good friends come and go, and this is just one of those times.
Indeed, I agree. Okay. Same question to you, Heidi. Do you believe anything could have been done?
I all I know is I know he said stop to somebody, and I don't know whether that was adhered to or not. And I wonder if something different would have happened.
Do you believe anybody acted recklessly that led to that situation?
Not that I saw, but I can only go by what I heard, and he said stop.
Can anyone else speak to what Heidi had heard?
Sorry, out of character, I missed that. My wife was making a lot of noise behind me.
Damn it, Kelly.
I had my muted.
I was asking if anybody could support Heidi's claim that she heard Bakar say stop and retreat. And if anybody disobeyed such an order.
I do not remember him saying that. Now, if he did or not, I couldn't tell you because I can't remember. With all that was going on in this battle, we were kind of
You were in the thick of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Kalakis, do you believe that anyone could have done anything to prevent Bakar's actions?
I think the only person that could have stopped Bakar from dying was Bakar.
That's fair. Do you believe anyone recklessly acted, which could have led to this situation?
The only thing that I think could have been done differently, which, and I understand his reasons, or her reasons, I should say, Shellistar for not being upfront with being immune to poison, but I don't think that would have changed anything, regardless if Bakar knew that she was immune to or resistant to poison.
Shellister, do you think this is a fair call on Kalakis' part?
Can you repeat that? I didn't understand that completely.
I just said that.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
I just said that the only thing that could have made Bakar think differently is if he knew up front that you were resistant to poison, but I don't think that would have ultimately changed anything.
So, Shallow all I have to ask is, do you believe anyone could have taken an action that would have prevented Bakar's actions in the situation that he found himself in?
Aside from Bakar himself, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think we were up against an overwhelming force, and we needed a little bit more finesse, but that's just not his style.
From what I have heard, it sounds like things got a little messy. Some tactics went out the window, and it sounds like maybe there wasn't as much communication as there should have been. But with that said, in the chaos of battle, sometimes that's just not a possibility. Does anybody have any reasonable suspicion that any wrongdoing of any member involved, or that there was any wrongdoing by any member, either intentionally or recklessly, that should lead to further investigation or pressing of charges?
I don't think any charges, whether somebody acted recklessly or not, should come up. You got to understand, we're the ones that went in on battle, and if somebody thinks that something is for the best interest, whether it's reckless or not, we're in it together. And no offense, but you weren't fucking there. We're the ones working. You know, you're sitting in your office doing what you got to do. I don't know. Me personally, I don't like the fact that somebody's going to get reprimanded or get in trouble because a battle didn't turn out the way we wanted. We're in it together. When one makes a decision, I think we're all in it together with them, whether it's good or bad.
I'm gonna say in character, no. That's how I'm gonna leave it.
Fair enough. All right. If that's it, if everybody agrees on that situation, is there any questions from the other two present that were not there?
Not from me. It seems very clear that all of you did exactly what was needed at the time, and the only one that seems to have acted recklessly was the one who did not return. To me, it sounds like they could have thrown the device lit rather than leaving it on themselves. It seemed like, for whatever reason, they decided that was it for them. I don't know why, but it seems pretty clear that no one else is at fault.
I think he was trying to block them in the cave so that we could go away. That's why it was at the entrance. If he threw it, they were already past where it would have exploded and caved
He
in.
could have also left it and ran. I don't know what else could have been done because I don't know the device, but it seems like his choices were his, and he was the only one at fault in any of this. If we can return him, because we do have his hand, that can always be something that can be discussed at a later date.
Sorry,
Pal?
sorry, Tavares, that we didn't get more than just his hand. We had a very high value target, and
Again,
weren't sure.
I'm not blaming anything. I'm just saying that it's good that you got at least that.
Well, he is very handy.
From your knowledge and understanding of the afterlife, as you are an expert, do you see any future action that we could take, as far as Bakar's soul and bringing back?
Once we have access to those particular prayers, at this time, I don't believe there's anything we can do.
Okay.
But definitely keep it in repose, and we can definitely try something in the future. If
Okay.
he so chooses to return, of course. That is always the question. It may not be something he wishes, in which case it would be to futility. So at this point, there's nothing that I can do to question him, because in order to do that, I would need his head at the very least.
Okay.
to at least question him and at his at this stage.
Fair enough. Pal, do you have any questions for the rest of the parties? Pal, you're muted.
My apologies, sir.
You're good.
I don't believe I have any questions. It seems to me that while Bakar has always been a good friend to us and a strong leader, his fascination with fire, his obsession, his romanticization of fire, I believe he led himself down this path. He's always wanted to be part of the fire, and now he is.
Okay. All right. With all of that said, I think it's fair to declare that no one is specifically in a wrongdoing. I do ask that in the future we try to take some sort of learnings out of this experience and do our best to prevent it from happening again. But we all know that battle is chaotic, and Bakar's actions were his own. And it's hopefully something he was at a peace with, and something that we can find peace with as well. So with all of that said, does anybody have any propositions as to what to do future as far as concerning Bakar? I did ask questions about his soul. Does anyone else have anything to input with that? Or any suggestions? Okay.
We know that Freya is a great healer. It may be wise of us to go speak with her and ask her counsel in this matter as well.
Okay. Perhaps we can reach out to her. We could do that in the future if you guys want to roleplay that. I can even do a little texting on Discord, and we could do a little bit of that back and forth. So back in character. Very well. So now that the situation in question has been handled, now we must discuss Bakar's estate and belongings. Upon cleaning out Bakar's quarters, multiple personal items and journals were recovered. Contents from the room may help to understand Bakar's mindset in the weeks leading to his death, as well as guide us to whom he chose as his benefactor to receive his unpaid wages and his 1,000 gold payout that we each get if somebody dies. I have not yet gone through the items with a plan of us doing so together. So, would somebody please volunteer to start going through Bakar's personal items? Nobody?
Who
I
has
could
been
do
with,
so.
I was gonna say, who's been with Bakar? Who's known Bakar the longest? Other than Azan.
I mean, if you want me to go through them, I can. If that's fair, I'll do so in front of all of you.
I will assist you.
Okay. I'm going through Bakar's belongings.
It's sometimes good. Yeah, it's sometimes good
Sorry.
to have a detached party, somebody who isn't as close
That's true.
to assist.
That's very true. So going through Bakar's belongings, we discover a logbook containing all of the company's log entries. You also find a stack of notes containing a range of topics. The notes concerning potential strategies and techniques. There's a bunch of like scribbling down of some experimentation of different types of techniques he was working on. You also find pages of names and ranks, including a list with titles that include the Sea Wrath and White Sails. You also discover random ramblings and she shanties. On one specific song sheet, there's a song that seems to hit you as you read it. Son of a bitch.
That's my favorite song. Son of a
Isn't it?
bitch.
Isn't that fantastic?
Give me a drink.
Oh yeah, I didn't know he was a follower of Umberly.
All right. On the in the general discussion of Discord, I will be posting a link. Nope, I take that back. I will not be.
Lost me for a second, sorry.
It's all good. I am posting a link to the Discord if you guys can all take a look. Oh, again, I'm not. I'm just joking. This time I'm for realsies. Alright. It's up on Discord, if you guys can click on that. Has everybody got it up?
Yep.
Okay. So, as you read the shanty that he has written down, I gotta find my position here.
My mother told me someday I will buy.
You can almost hear the song being sung by a drunken Bakar sitting in the corner of the hall,
Sail to distant shores.
as it's kind of echoing within your soul as the words are read aloud.
Noble bark I steer, steady course to the haven. Through many foemen. My mother told me someday I will buy. Gully with good oars, sail to distant shores. Stand up on the prow, no
everybody get 2 rounds of that, or a round of it at least. Okay. So we'll move on. There was also a note dated a month ago, contains a long run-on sentence with repeated focus of needing to find Crixus's killer, who he considered his father, at all costs. It kind of just rambling with a lot of random things written down, focused on his revenge. Along with the official paperwork, you also discover a book of personal journal entries. While some of the documents document the recent events and Bakar's personal opinion of current affairs, most of the entries concern Bakar's personal relationship with Lania. As you read these entries, you suddenly realize that it has been months since anyone in the company has seen or heard from her. While often a recluse and a wandering bard, her time away has been surprisingly long. In the notes, you read of the complicated relationship between the 2 fellow members. The ending entries detail the grief and suffering Bakar was quietly dealing with after she left. As you finish scanning the last of Bakar's journal entry, a sealed letter falls out from the last page of the journal. On the front of the letter reads, "To my brothers and sisters of this Canterbury company." Would anybody like to read said letter? Anybody
I can
volunteer?
read it.
Okay. I'm going to post that on the Discord as well. The first line of it says, "Please read this aloud." Where is it? "Shall I fall? Read this note aloud for all to hear." Oh, it's going to be a text file.
Okay.
We're able to get it?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
There's so much to say, but I will keep this simple. I've learned that complicated goodbyes can do more harm than good. For far too long, my mind has been consumed by vengeance on those who did me wrong so long ago. The murder of the only man I could call father was the massive weight I was destined to carry until death and perhaps beyond. Would that I had learned to let go. My heart has been awash with loss for comrades, for Crixus, for friendships and loves lost. Would that I had learned to shore up the damage and stop the flooding. My soul has been tormented by the possibility of further loss, by the inability to fulfill that vengeance, and by a lack of balance in life, which I doubt I will correct in death. I hope you learn more from my flaws than you pay honor to my strength. I love you all like family. I decided to course our actions with whatever reckless valor was required, but the steps in which we carried them out were always carefully weighed against the immeasurable value of your safety. I often placed myself in harm's way, not out of bravery, but out of cowardice. The fear of losing any of you kept me awake most nights. The irony that such an act could steal away my ability to keep you safe is not lost on me. It's simply an inescapable trade. I leave you with no instructions for my eternal rest. I don't want to burden you with useless ceremony or tradition. What is left behind on the battlefield is not but flesh and bone. But I will leave you this journal. My effects and a few good memories, I hope. I implore you to continue to care for and train our orphans. They are a hope for a brighter future. Always show mercy and compassion for the weak, for the downtrodden, and the abused. It is an investment whose return is so vast that a lifetime isn't enough to collect it. Lastly, I leave you a bit of practical advice. The advice is this. In combat, everything is a weapon once you find a way to wield it. When the battle is joined, let your strategy run free in the accomplishing of your goals. But when the din dies down and the fray has dispersed, when the enemies are fled or vanquished, leave your war on the field or the waves on which you fought. Don't bring it home with you. May tomorrow always smile on you, my friends, until we meet again. Bakar, Markle of Muntarn, of the White Sails, of the warship Sea Wrath, of the Iron Shield, and the fearless ghost of Canterbury, and faithful son of Crixus.
Thank you, Heidi. Well, it appears Bakar decided that we are his only family, and thus we shall honor his memory, his only remaining family. Before we can start to plan a memorial, though, we must first decide what will happen to our company next. First is the empty seat that Bakar's loss leaves. Is anyone willing, or does anyone offer a candidate to take Bakar's seat as first sergeant? If no
Are
one
you looking
is,
for volunteers right now?
I am. If anyone's willing, or if anyone offers a candidate. If not, we can keep it open.
I would offer, which might not, I would actually offer Kalakis.
Oh, I think, did we lose Nick? Is he still here?
No, no.
Okay.
Here.
His nips were showing, so he had to turn off the camera.
No.
It's good. I would have kicked him.
Well,
No, but he's safe. I'm the one. I'm the target now.
they were going to be showing, so I turned the camera off. I had to get up and get a drink.
I think he shows the same strength that Bakar has, although I think he needs some work in restraint.
And I also,
The bravery is there,
I also have the same level of fire, maybe not quite as much, but
and the strategy is mostly there.
Kalakis, would you accept such a promotion?
well, I would like to be humble about it. But Kalakis will humbly accept. And thanks everyone for.
Is anything
For thoughtfulness.
Kalakis does is humble?
No.
Kalakis
is not a humble
So
person.
with that said, we have a motion. Does anybody second said motion?
I think it should stay empty. I don't know why we have to fill it.
Hmm.
Honestly,
We have a second motion. Does anybody vote either way? Pal, do you have a decision either direction?
I think making a decision so quickly is ill thought. I think we should wait over time and see who emerges as the leader for us.
Okay.
I like that too.
I mean,
agree
I
with that.
see this as equals.
It's a fair
He makes a good
excuse.
point. The leader or whoever, their reputation, we're gonna follow. Whoever takes the reins and we follow in battle, without an official title, will be the leader by example. But I still see us all as equals. I don't think a specific hierarchy needs to be in place.
Yeah, I don't think any one person is, more inclined
And
to be a leader than another. But
none of us are Bakar.
It may also be that leadership is situational for us. That one situation, one person should emerge, and another person another.
I agree.
So the
When it
motion
comes to
now
Dragon
is
Chest battle,
the motion now is to keep the seat open. Does everybody agree? Anyone disagree?
I agree. Keep it open
I
for
agree. I
now.
second.
If that becomes clear in the future, we
Okay.
can readdress it.
Very good. For now, Bakar's seat will remain open, both as a tribute to him, but also as a way for us to ensure he goes to the rightful of us that deserves it. So, with all of that said, what do all of you choose for the future of the company? Personally, I kind of took a back seat and let Bakar kind of take over. We kind of got on a little bit of a warpath there. Do you think we should go back to just doing contracts? Should we still try and make the area peaceful? Should we focus on red brands or any other threats in the area? I'm up for a discussion on such.
I mean,
Personally, I do think that the red brands pose a continuing threat, and we should definitely maintain a focus on them.
Or maybe we get information from the captive.
Exactly.
Maybe we have a better idea
Okay.
I was
of
gonna say,
where we were on their list to see what kind of threat they may still pose.
what I was gonna say is it might be worth talking to her, seeing what kind of interrogation we can do to her. and get whatever information we can. And then we should also probably go back to that cave, strictly reconnaissance this time,
Mhm.
and just to see what's left of, or who died, if there's any bodies left there, and then make a decision after that. You know, if a good amount of them are dead and it's going to be hard for them to start back up and cause some trouble, well then we'll take them out as we have
Mhm.
time. But if they're still a threat, then I think it's worth going after because now they know we're after them.
Yes.
If they're
It
not
also
still a threat,
seems, yeah, I
yeah,
don't know enough about the intel for all of the missions, but it seems like they seem to be behind much of the unrest that's in this area.
I agree. But also that large explosion Bakar caused, there was
Mm-hmm.
there was a good amount of people in there that were high up on
This is true.
list of
Yeah.
Red Brand captains.
And Picard did say something about the back door, and Calakas, you said there is no back door. So if maybe they're trapped in there, we don't know.
Yeah,
Okay. So one of the
so it might be.
pressing things we should be doing soon is to go back, keep an eye on the red brands. Does everyone agree?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd make that our primary objective, but I think first on the list of things to do is investigate the cave just to see, just just to go back and get a sit rep on the area,
Okay.
just to see who's dead, and from the guys that we've seen who died
Okay.
in that explosion
All right.
and how many.
Fair enough.
It seems to me that we're involved already, and if we go looking for trouble, trouble is going to find us anyway.
I know the Zentarum are still going to be looking for us, regardless of Red Brand activity or not. So we should definitely watch out for that.
Would our captain have any information on them?
I am not sure.
Maybe something else to ask him.
Do we know of any relationship between the Zentarum and the Red Brands? What
Uh,
the relationship is?
Bakar was trying to pit them against each other, so I don't think they really have a relationship.
Well,
From what
the guy that we brought through the town, he was collecting that information for the Zentarum, and he also had information of the Red Brand. So somehow they're connected. I mean, if they're
Yeah,
being
but
kept
that-
tabs on.
yeah, that very well could have just been who's in the area that
Just
we might have
general
to worry about. Yeah,
census. Gotcha.
yeah, because he was working for the Zentarum, so he might have just been collecting who could be an issue in this area information.
Okay.
Okay.
So we have no definitive proof that they are connected.
Mhm.
Okay. As far as the prisoner is concerned, we have been working specifically. We have been sending our rogue against her, and we're attempting to break her. She's got a pretty strong will, but we will
I should
continue
break
said
news.
conversation in the future, and maybe we can do something together. With all of that said, next, my fellow members, we must plan a celebration of life and a good send off for our brother. Does anyone have any suggestions?
Drink.
Beer, rum. That's
Fire.
that's what
We
Bacardi.
have all that wine we stole.
Drink
Yeah.
and fire.
Yep, big.
Oh,
fire.
yes, big bonfire.
And fireworks.
How about a lighting a pyre in his honor?
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
works.
I like it.
Okay. So with that said, let's begin building said pyre. Time progresses, you guys start building a pyre for your own quiet ceremony. But as you do, from within the hall, you actually begin to hear a commotion outside. Um, there's a very loud commotion. It's getting closer and closer to the hall, and it sounds like loud angelic like singing. As you walk to the front of the hall, the singing shifts from the voice of one loud voice to a sea of many. As you open the door and peer out into the road in front of the company hall, you see many familiar faces, all holding candles and singing in unison. Among the crowd, you see the followers of Tempest and the many townspeople of Greenflower. You also see the entire town of Canaberry in force joining the monks in song. Among the crowd, some of you recognize the faces of the slaves rescued from the sewers of Neverwinter so many weeks ago, along with others you don't even recognize. As Azon exits the hall and sees the gathered crowd, a tear rolls down his grizzled, scarred face. Devon and Matilda One Eye, the leaders of Greenflower, and the Tempest, the leaders of Greenflower and the Tempest followers, steps out and greets Azon with a look of compassion. As greetings are exchanged, Devon puts his hand in the air and the singing ceases. Devon says to Azon, "The news of Bakar has been heard from here to Neverwinter, and while he may not have been the most widely known legend of the land, he has become a bit of a folk hero among many of those who he has helped. We will all mourn his passing, and felt like we had to come to you, our friends, to show you our support." Azon, momentarily speechless, steps in front of the crowd. Oh, I got music playing and I don't know why.
You know, say momentarily speechless. You're getting a character for it.
That was a pretty long moment.
Cast fireball. Makar would have approved.
He would totally approve. Let's go with this one. Alright. Momentarily speechless, steps in front of the crowd. "My friends, the ghosts of Canaberry welcome you and truly appreciate your show of compassion. I can't tell you how much this gesture means to me and my company. If I may, I would like to say a few words about Bakar. I first met Bakar in what feels like a lifetime ago. Even though it actually wasn't that long ago, it was in a distant place during a time of very different circumstances. Bakar was a man like many of us with a past, one that had moments he was proud of, as well as moments that he was not. Bakar was not the toughest or bravest man I ever met, but he might have had the most heart. Bakar was the kind of man that would punch you in the face with a right hook and offer you a beer with the left. While I don't know if he ever found peace with his demons, I do know he never thought twice about putting his life on the line for those he cared about. Whether they be his brothers and sisters in arms, or the innocent and desolate who just needed a hand, Bakar was always willing to do what it took to make right in the world. While we may have lost a good, complicated man, we forever shall be left with his memory and the lessons we have learned from his actions. In the worst possible situation, Bakar did whatever was necessary to protect those around us, and we shall forever remember his sacrifice. To Bakar!"
The car.
Bakar.
I give permission for the rest of the company to share your own toast if you wish. I've lost my beer.
I don't want to get back up and get a beer, so I'll have an empty brisk can.
Katie, not usually prone to crowds, slips off to find the orphans and talks to them about the cycle of life, death, and rebirth, and how Bakar's voice will be heard on the wind, especially the songs on the sea, etc., etc.
The crackle of a fire.
Hermits don't like crowds.
Just gets up in front of everybody and says, "Well, I didn't know Bakar for very long, but when I did meet with him, he was a very good man and my kind of guy. He was definitely someone worth dying for, and definitely someone worth fighting with. He went out the only way acceptable in battle. To Bakar." you're muted, Corey, if you're talking.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything to share? Okay.
I'm just gonna take. Mm, yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna cast Ice Knife multiple times, just aiming 60 feet in the air, and they're just gonna explode into kind of like firework. Yeah, I'm just gonna change the element type to fire, so they look appropriate.
Does anybody want to light the pyre that has been
Oh, yes.
created?
Can I light the pyre with my dragon breath?
Send a little owl to outburn you real quick.
Or we can all do it at the same time.
Yeah, Golton's stumbling around right now. He's already several bottles into this celebration, and he's so fixated on this pile of wood. He's telling Kalakis like, "Do we need more wood? I think we need a bigger fire. Is this big enough? We need more fire."
More pellets.
As you all have shared your own thoughts and words, others have also spoken out for how Bakar had touched them, and the ghost, for that matter, had touched their hearts. Not touched them; that'd be weird. Devan, it's a funeral. There's got to be a few jokes, right? Devin One Eye steps out in front of the group, and he says, "The ghosts appeared to us in a time we needed them most. Run out by corruption and greed, we thought we may never see our homes or loved ones again. The ghosts offered aid even when they were led to believe we were the enemy. With the odds against us, our new friends seemed all but lost. But oh, Jesus, sorry, I'm just reading really well tonight. When the odds were against us and our new friends, all seemed lost. But Bakar came riding in with Azon and other reinforcements, and led a clash against our foes. A few months later, we once again found ourselves in a spot of a tough time, as a struggling small town, and sure enough, Bakar and the ghost returned to give us aid when we all seemed lost. The compassion shown to us and the fierce, fiery style Bakar famously wielded in battle will forever be the stuff of legends for us and all we meet. As the night grows on, other members of the procession speak and share stories and thoughts for Bakar and the company alike. Even a few words are shared by the orphans Bakar talked to the company into giving shelter. As as the offers of praise and remembrance dies down, Azan orders a pyre. Well, we already did all that. It's lit. Respect to the memory of the fallen friend. Um, the crowd looks on in silence at the burning pyre. From the middle of the crowd, you start to hear the voice of a woman singing. And I will post yet another link. If you could all kindly click it and listen. Crap. I hit the wrong button though.
As the singing goes on, I'm getting fidgety and looking through the crowd to see if anybody has a dragon chest set.
The singing is coming from a hooded woman. You cannot identify who it is.
Mother told me someday I would buy galleys with good
Hood covering
oars
her
and
face, you're unsure of her
sails to
identity, but her
distant
song fills the air and
shores.
hits you in the soul.
Stand up
The
high,
words coming straight
McLeod,
off the page found among Bakar's
noble
belongings.
Buckeye steer, steady course for the havens,
Well, she obviously
human foemen.
is from the same kind of place Bakar is from.
Someday I would buy
Maybe we should. Maybe I should go, or someone who's more sociable should go talk to her.
Does the voice sound familiar?
Yeah, does the voice sound familiar, Corey, or no? It's just a
You're
lady
not
singing.
necessarily able to identify it. There's a hint of familiarity to it. As the song ends, the woman disappears into the crowd and cannot be found.
Cast message.
Sure.
100 feet. I'm gonna ask, and I'm the only one who can hear this. Is that you, Lania?
You hear nothing in response.
Did I feel that it went through?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
As the song ends, the woman disappears in the crowd. So that the pyre continues to grow, and the crowd remains strong for a while. But as the night dwindles, the crowd begins to shrink. Each person making their own personal piece before heading out in their own direction.
Yeah, Golteb randomly stumbles through the crowd with his bottle of liquor, and he's just randomly grabbing people, pouring them shots, and says, "Toast to our hero!" And just whatever group he sees, he's just pouring shot after shot after shot, stumbling around, insisting everybody toast, and keep adding to the fire, make the fire burn brighter.
I'm gonna outdrink Golteb by saying, "You really can't handle your liquor."
Shut up! Let's drink again.
I think he's drunk enough to forget that I knew that I am immune to poisons.
Oh yeah.
He keeps trying to beat you in drinking games, and it just doesn't work.
I'm gonna go start wandering through the crowd, see if I can find the woman singer again.
Okay. You are unsuccessful at this point.
I'm gonna cast Disguise Self.
Okay.
And turn myself into a similarly looking hooded woman. And then I'm gonna keep. And then I'm gonna look. And then I'm gonna do another round looking for the woman.
Okay. That is pretty much all I had prepared, guys. Is there anything else we would like to do?
We can always reach out to his other, like who he served with before, to see if anybody would like anything. But for now, I think I would like to take the time to make a shrine in dedication to him and his bravery.
My love, my fearless love, I will not say goodbye. Sea may rise, sky may fall, my love will never die. Go on, go bravely on into the blackest night. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
was a really short one.
Well, mourning someone's death, Corey.
I know.
Man, I really thought that you were gonna pull out Red Brands invading. When you said there's a group of people, I says, "Oh no!"
I was wondering what
Yeah,
you
I
guys
got
were gonna
kinda like,
think.
oh no.
Or like a zombie
Galactus don't
Bakars
wanna
at the
go
door.
visit with
Goodness.
Galactus
I
does
think-
want to go visit our
I think
prisoner.
I think we'd have to have everybody here if they were going to invade our
Just full on
know.
invasion.
residency. Not to mention that would end up being like a 5-hour battle.